Hey guys, in this video we're taking a little break from synthesizers to go over this tiny little mixer that Roland sent me to check out. So it's called the Go Mixer Pro. So they used to have a Go Mixer and this is sort of a Pro version. And what this is a mixer for your smartphone. So you can plug it into your iPhone, iPad, or your Android devices. And it gets powered from the device itself, so you don't need any extra power cables. And there's a bunch of different inputs, which I'll go over in a sec. But effectively, it's a great little mixer if you want to record on your phone. So I guess there's two sort of ways you can think about using this. One is more your traditional, if you want to use a portable kind of music making station, if you want to use your phone as like a DAW, and you want to plug in direct inputs with your instruments, mics, etc. So this is a great way to do that. And the other way, which I'm going to primarily use this for, is for things like Instagram or Facebook or even YouTube videos, where if you want to use your phone directly and you don't have a camera rig or anything like that, normally you don't want to be using your direct microphone from your phone if you're doing demos of like synths or guitars or stuff like that. You ideally want to use direct audio so that the audience can get a better quality when they're listening and watching your videos. So this is a great way to do that because you can plug in your synths into here and plug in via USB into your phone. All right, so let's quickly go over the front panel here. So first, the unit itself is made of plastic, feels really solid and super light, which I guess is the main bonus here, is that this is not going to replace your kind of home mixer, but this is a great little tool to bring to like a cabin or on an airplane or something, or maybe not an airplane because you don't want to be using full instruments in there, but you get the point. You can just travel with this, throw it in your backpack with your phone, and it's powered by the phone, like I said before, so it's super handy to have on the go. So let's quickly go over all the ins and outs and all the jacks and knobs that are around. So first at the top here, pretty self-explanatory. You have 4 different knobs to control the volume of 4 different types of inputs. And then here you have your main audio output to get from your monitor output here. So if we start from the left here, you have left and right stereo instrument inputs, and these are 1/4 inch. You have a left mono and then a right. So you can plug in your synths into here or other kind of standard instruments or drum machines, etc. And then you have the knob here to control that input. At the bottom here, various different I/O and 2 little switches. So you have 2 line inputs. So line inputs you can plug in like an FM radio or a laptop headphone jack or an iPod if you just want to play music into here. So just a standard kind of 1/8 inch input to add different kinds of sound sources. That one doesn't have a dedicated knob. So what they say is that you just use the volume of the device that you're plugging in to control that level. Next to that, you have a monitor output, also 1/8 inch. Here you can plug in your headphones to monitor what you're recording, or you can feed it into a stereo pair of monitors if you want to audition it with like a proper sound system. But what's cool here is that you can plug in a headphone and audition what you're playing if you're recording for Instagram, for example, whereas normally if you're using like an older phone and you're auditioning the audio from the phone itself, you tend to sometimes get a bit of latency, which can affect the performance, especially if you're like a live musician and you want to make musician-based content on Instagram. This is a great way to get kind of zero latency auditioning of what you're hearing straight from the mixer, so you can be confident that the performance is solid. And then you have these 2 little switches. One's cancel or center cancel, which is marketed as sort of a karaoke feature where it's supposed to kind of remove the vocals from a track. I am personally not going to be using that, but if that's something you're into, you can check that out. I didn't actually try it, so I don't know how good it is. But the old mixer had that same feature, so it's probably the same. And then over here, you have this loopback switch on off, which is kind of cool. Loopback allows you, because the phone is plugged in via USB, if you switch loopback, you can get the signal from the phone back into here. So for example, if you have another app playing music on Spotify or something, loopback allows you to bring that audio back in into the mixer here. So you can blend that in with your keyboard playing or whatever other instruments you have going in. So that's it for the bottom. Moving on to this side here, you have guitar/bass input. And self-explanatory, you plug in your guitar or bass straight into here, and you have a dedicated volume knob for that. That's a 1/4 inch input. Next to that, you have something called plug-in mic, and this is an 1/8 inch input. And this is where you would plug in something like a lavalier mic or those little mics that you clip onto your shirts. So this is great if you're doing kind of an interview-based thing, or if you're just talking and playing synths or something and you want to be hands-free, you can just clip a little mic, plug it in there. And that also has a dedicated slider or knob here. And finally, we get to the top here where you have an XLR, a 1/4 inch combo input for mics. And this big chunk here, as you'll notice, is probably the biggest difference from the old regular mixer, the non-Pro. And what's cool here is that you get 48 volt phantom power that you can switch on and off. So this allows you to plug in a nice condenser mic into here, which is great if you're a singer-songwriter and you want super high quality, both for recording like proper audio or for creating videos like Instagram, like I said before. So that's a cool new addition to this thing here. And this big container here contains 4 AAA batteries, which you can insert into here. So let me talk about the batteries a little bit. So like I said before, you don't actually need the batteries to operate this thing. You can just plug in your phone into USB and the phone will power the unit under normal use. The main reason for the batteries is for the phantom power for iOS or like Mac devices. Apparently, according to the manual, Android devices can supply the phantom power without the batteries directly from the phone. I haven't tried it because I don't have an Android device, but that's something to keep in mind. But for iOS or like iPhone or iPad devices, you need to add those 4 AAA batteries if you want to switch on phantom power for like a condenser or something. And apparently the battery life is around 4.5 hours according to the manual, but I haven't stress tested that myself, so can't confirm or deny. All right, speaking of different devices, the unit ships with 3 different cables. So one is a lightning cable, so you can plug it into iOS devices like an iPhone or an iPad. And then you have a micro B and a USB-C, so for various different Android devices. And like I said, I haven't tested this with Android because I don't have one, but you should have most of the cables you need to get started off the bat. All right, so just to show you how you would set this up. So I just have my iPhone 6 here. I'm just gonna plug it in on the lightning cable side here, the bottom, and then you have your USB port side here, which goes in the back of the unit here. So off the bat, you're not going to see the power light go on until you launch an application that requires audio. So I'm just going to power this on. I'm just going to open the camera app, which is the simplest example. And if I switch to video mode, you can see the power switch went on. And then obviously this is showing my camera and you're not going to be hearing anything, but I'm going to be doing some examples shortly after this to show you different kinds of setups of how you would route audio through this. But effectively, this is as simple as it gets. The mixer is powered from the phone. I have nothing else plugged in. So if I hit record now and record a video, whatever I have plugged in here, like a synth or a mic or me singing with a guitar or something, everything will get mixed into the video itself. So you'll get that high quality audio along with your video. All right, so I've got this little rig set up here. We got an iPad running GarageBand, which is powering the mixer, and then we're feeding this organelle into the instrument left and right inputs of the mixer. I've got the levels up there, and this jack here is my monitor, which I'm feeding into my audio interface, so that's how you're able to hear the audio. So whenever you hear audio coming from the organelle or GarageBand, that is coming straight from the mixer, so you can hear what that sounds like. All right, so I'm just gonna record a little drum groove. All right, so I've got a condenser mic going straight into the mixer, recording into the iPhone 6. So this footage is straight from the phone with the mic directly in. I meet a lot of people, but I haven't made a friend. I said I meet a lot of people, but I haven't made a friend. Sometimes they're sussing me, but I'm a certain freak. Calling my mind and fucking give me a piece of the puzzle. Give me a piece of your mother's friend. I want you. I want you. Send the mothership back to Earth. We need it here more than ever before. Count the little people running around this store to me. All I want is peace of mind, oh yes.
peace of mind. Don't let me give you a little piece of my mind. Oh yes, piece of my mind. Alright, I've got a similar setup as before, except this time I've got my Jaguar plugged in to the mixer, XLR into the XLR channel, and I've also got this Digitact plugged in to the instrument input. So we got possibly I could tell mother where you've been. Possibly I could tell everybody else about you. Why would you ever leave your house when it's so fucking nice inside? Why would you ever leave your house when it's so fucking nice inside? It's so hard to be ready for school. Oh, I'll never be ready. I'll never be ready for school. It just came to mind that you'll never be a friend of mine. That's alright. Alright, similar setup as before. I've got a P-Bass hooked up into the bass/guitar input. Condenser also into the input. Digitact also into the input. You'll never be the one to tell me that I'm innocent, 'cause Alright, so I've got a Moog Prodigy going into the instrument inputs, condenser also into the mic input, and alright, so I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of what this little thing can do. So far I'm pretty impressed. The fact that it's kind of so portable, lightweight, and powered from your phone means you don't need to bring anything else. You have kind of a self-contained audio interface, and it effectively can take all kinds of different signals. I couldn't think of anything that you couldn't feed through it. So you can feed stereo drum machines or any kind of line level signals, any instruments, synthesizers, a guitar, bass, condenser mic with phantom power, dynamic mics, lavalier mics, any iPods or laptops. Effectively, if it can produce a sound, chances are this thing can take it in some way. So yeah, hopefully that was interesting. Let me know if you have any questions about the unit in the comments. I'll be sure to answer those. Otherwise, like, subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one.